Mayhem 4 was released the other day with the Molly 1 Takedown update, and it's been getting a lot of criticism from the community talking about how bad it is and how they don't like it. And then there's been other people who are just starting to work around it, and I just want to go over all of that in today's video. But starting off, let's talk about Mayhem 4 itself to get a better understanding of what it is. It's obviously the next tier of the Mayhem mode. What happens in Mayhem 4 is the enemies get 850% more health, 1000% more shield, and 1000% more armor. That alone right there is what everybody hates, because in Mayhem 3, their health was up by 100% and their shields and armor were up by 150%. Now, obviously, going to that to 850 and 1000 is a huge jump, and it dramatically changes the way the game is played, like to an absurd amount. Some of the best builds that we've known to think are like OP, I guess, are just not performing like they used to. You can still work around some of it, but it's not like you're going in with ease. It is definitely a challenge to complete some of these activities now. Now, with that being said, that could also be looked as a positive because new builds will develop, but some people have already put a lot of time into the other build and they're upset that it doesn't work anymore, and that's very understandable. But the next part for Mayhem 4 is the way they change the way the modifiers work. Instead of having 4 modifiers now, you only have 2, and there's no negative modifiers. Now this is where the good comes in part, at least in my opinion. Only having 2 modifiers with no negatives means you're gonna have 1 positive modifier that buffs you and 1 modifier that buffs enemies. It's not a negative to you. There's only one kind of like that, and I will go over that later. You have 1 positive, which is very good, and 1 positive to the enemies, which obviously makes it harder for you, but it's not actually lowering your damage. So that alone is good. It's no more just random BS destroying your build because you didn't get lucky with the Mayhem modifier. Like it was so annoying on Mayhem 3, and this change completely fixed it for me. This change, at least, that doesn't affect 850% health and the 1000% shield and armor increase, but those 2 modifiers are really good. I love the way they changed it. But there is one buff to the enemies where they basically take 25% less critical hit damage, which is basically just negatively affecting your critical hit builds, and that kind of sucks. But let's be honest, it's only 1. I will take that. It's very easy to just save and quit and try to not get that. And speaking of saving and quitting, this change is very good for people like me or other YouTubers, or even people just trying to test builds out, because we can keep rerolling easier to get neutral modifiers, and it'll be very easy to see, okay, this build's actually very good without a buff, or this build, you know, it's obviously going to be a lot better with the buff if you have it on. But yes, thumbs up, very positive of the modifier change. Mayhem 2.0 is still coming out, which will probably fix this a little more, which is great. I'll always like improvements, but as of right now, this is very good, and I'm very pleased the way this is. But the main part where everybody hates is the health, shields, and armor. Now this, I agree with the community for the most part, and I also kind of disagree, but I'm leaning more towards the community. And the only reason I disagree a little bit is just because I like to make new builds and stuff. Like, there's a new Amara class mod out right now. I can't get it to drop for me for the love of my life, because I farmed for like 3 hours straight last night and still didn't get it to drop. But when I get that, it's going to completely change the way the game works. That is one of her best class mods right now, and I'm pretty sure the other characters also have very good class mods now too. But it's going to completely change the way your builds work and how you can take down stuff. I foresee eventually, even with these buffs to health and shields, we're going to get to a point where Mayhem 4 is basically going to be as easy as Mayhem 3 after enough time investment and just learning new things with new gear. But on the first day, it definitely seemed like it was going to be a pain. But I've already seen more Phase Zerker builds. I already have my Phase Zerker build. It's doing solo Mayhem 4 Molly Want Takedown like with ease for the first couple parts. Like, well, I say with ease. It's not like challenging. You still have to focus and like think about what you're doing, but you're not just straight up mindlessly destroying everything. But you still are going to get through it easily. But overall, with the health, shields, and armor, the negative is definitely on the first day it seemed awful, and I would imagine to some people now it still feels kind of bad. I mean, it still feels bad for, you know, some people that play the game a lot. It's just annoying at some points, but like I said, it will probably get better over time, as it seems to already be with some builds that are coming out in some gear, like the TDR builds that are happening now, like they straight up just wreck Mayhem 4. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. But for a recap, the modifier change that they made for Mayhem 4 is very, very good. The health shield and armor change they made could be looked into a little more next time, but over time, it should get better. Now, another thing they did was add specific legendaries to this Mayhem level. This change, I can see for some people it just being awful because they don't want to play. They're not like, it's probably not serious players of the game. They're kind of just like casually playing. They just like to collect legendaries, whatever. And they can't get them because they don't have top tier builds to do this health and shield armor change, and they just won't be able to get these legendaries. They don't have access to them, or maybe they don't have people to do Mayhem 4, takedown with or slaughter. They can't get any of these things. This is a very interesting change to me because I don't like to see people getting locked out of gear, but at the same time, it is still kind of nice to have, I guess, veteran players, maybe people who really play the game, be able to have access to something that people don't. But to be a whole legendary is kind of crazy. Like maybe like Mayhem level 4 should just drop specific like skins, like weapon skins, or maybe like a head or something. But a whole legendary gun where people can't get is a little crazy to me. But again, I feel like there should be something incentivizing you to play on Mayhem 4, and a head and scan just might not be that. So I really don't know where to go with that situation because there's so many different types of people that play the game. Obviously I play the game a lot and we'll get these weapons eventually just through farming and playing on Mayhem 4 because I will be going for top tier builds and try to make videos on them. But I also see for people who don't do that, it could be a pain. But yeah, we'll have to see what Gearbox does with that and how they go from there. But ways to improve Mayhem 4 right now, I would say, is definitely if they want to lower the health shields and armor, I feel like that could be a thing, and maybe only have a couple legendaries be exclusive, not like a whole bunch that seem to be the way it is now. Like maybe have like 1 or 2 exclusive and the others could be throughout the whole game. Kind of like how Destiny has like, this raid exotics, like something like that. Overall though, this change definitely, for me, made Mayhem a little better. It still needs work done to it, and I think Mayhem 2.0 is definitely what is going to fix this. But that comes out in 2020, and I know some people don't want to wait that long. But don't take this as Mayhem 4 is bad, because it's definitely not. It's just dedicated way more to the hardcore players, I guess, that are going to actually sit and try to like make builds and get stuff. So that's the changes for Mayhem 4. You might love it, you might hate it. Let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that's gonna do it all for me, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the recent support too. I think I gained like almost 10 subscribers like in a day yesterday, which is crazy. I really appreciate that. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one.